Hey team, this is video number 2. So again, just leaning on my script, even though it says no script, but I'm scripting it because repetition builds confidence. So, hey team, Watto here. I'm building this from the ground up. One take, no reshoots, just talk from wherever I'm at. These videos are raw on purpose because confidence and impact comes from showing up, not perfect. If it helps me, it might help someone else too. So, chat's probing question today is, what's one lesson you've had to learn the hard way? Now, I'm not going to lie, I took a sneak peek at this question yesterday. I'm not too sure why. And I thought, do I want to share something from my personal life or my professional life? So I thought, starting the channel off to share a bit about me, I'm going to look at my personal life. So one lesson you've had to learn the hard way, and that's about alcohol. And the reason I say that is that I haven't been drinking now for nearly 2.5 years, probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. But the reason I made that decision is because I got to a point in my life where I thought, how many wasted minutes, hours, days, and weeks of my life because of alcohol, whether that be, hangovers or just whatever. So I thought, I want to be the best version of myself, and I want to be the true version of myself all the time. And the only way for me to do that is to stop drinking. Because if I look at alcohol and my life, the most shameful, moods, behaviors, actions, and thoughts came from me being under the influence of alcohol. So, and when you take like a macro approach and you really look at what alcohol is, and you really look at, the impacts it has on people's lives, there's really not too much good about it. And again, this is my perspective, and I'm sharing my perspective on my relationship with alcohol. So there was a moment a couple of years ago where I went on a fishing trip, and on that fishing trip, yes, I had a good time with some great friends and also my wife, but I think I drank 2 cartons of beer, copious amounts of alcohol, and I finished that trip feeling absolutely horrendous and thought, you know what, this isn't me. So I made a change in my life. That moment made an absolute change, and now I say to myself, I just don't drink. It's not that I wait for a special occasion, I just don't drink, and I will never drink again. So, and even from, for my wife and I, we look at the household that we have for our daughters. We're providing an alcohol-free environment for our daughters to then make their own decision on what they want to do with alcohol. And I think that's only fair to them, where instead of waking up with, beer cans rattling all over the place and, seeing us sort of, drunk and sort of stumbling around the house and being hungover. And like, I still remember this one morning, like this is back when this is when we were living in Port Hedland, and the girls were, super young. And I remember waking up one morning because you had twin daughters that, had to live. And then I remember getting up there with the girls and just sitting there thinking, man, if this is what I feel like now, man, I would hate to feel what it's like when you're on death's bed, because I felt so incredibly down, so incredibly blue. And that was like this realization that, wow, like this is having a huge impact on my life. So my video has gone on for nearly 4 minutes, so way too long. So what's one of the lessons you've had to learn the hard way is the impacts that alcohol had on my life, and waiting until I was in my late 30s to make the decision to stop drinking. And one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And I will never drink again. So closing. So that's me for today. One take, no script, just real talk. If you're learning out loud like I am, let's keep rolling. And if this hits for you, like, comment, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it.